Okay, so I want to talk to you about a workflow that I made for a recruitment agency. This was the exact recruitment agency that allowed me to quit my job. And yeah, so let's just get straight into it. So I've done all of this with a Go High Level account, a Make.com account, and Google. And that's how I set it up for him. So this is the Go High Level account here. All the automations are built on this. This is just a template. I can't show you his exact one because obviously he's got his money, his finances, personal details on there, etc. But this is a demo, or part of a demo that I've set up. So when I jump on a sales call, I'm armed and I can show clients that, yeah, this is how it's going to look. And I just don't turn up looking stupid, trying to sell them something that they can't visually see. Gets me more clients and it works. But I am actively building this out. So yeah, let me stop waffling and let me get straight onto it. So let me explain the pipeline and how it then speaks to everything else. So let me just drag these two out. And these two are just going to be my test little workers. So as you've probably just seen then, I'm building a tradesman onboarding form, which will obviously get sent out to required tradesmen that aren't part of this guy's service or involved in the CRM. And then as they fill out that form, they're automatically then going to be populating into this. But for now, we're not working with that. I'm just going to show you the main part of the timesheet automation and the basis around it. So personal choice today is going to be my test NABUS worker. That then gets dragged into the NABUS stage. You build all of this out manually, pretty easy. You come into opportunities, you go into your pipelines, create a pipeline, call it whatever you want, and you add all the companies there. Once you've done that, obviously you save it, and then it comes up on this. All of them will come there. That's the basis of that. Then what you do is you go to your automations, and you start to build all your automations to speak to this. So the company auto tagging folder is this. So AWell is obviously the Amberwell one. Available is like a generic, is the start of the workflow. So when tradesmen are available to work for the company, they go in at the start. And the reason why I've got one for Amberwell, one for available, generic, and NABUS is because this recruitment agency, the two companies, Amberwell and NABUS, they needed to have tradesmen using their branded timesheet. And then the one for generic, he had like another 12 or 15 different companies that were happy to use his recruitment agency's timesheet. So that's why I've had to do it this way. But just to let you know, if you're going to be building something like this out for a recruitment agency, or if you're a recruitment agency watching this, then you haven't got to do it that way if everyone uses the same timesheet. You can just have it done one way, and then you build a command sheet on Google Sheets, which I'll show you again at a different time, and then you format it that way. But you won't have to do it that way. All you'd have to do is available, working, like you can customize your pipeline however you want. You probably know about all of that if you're watching this anyway. But as we're talking about NABUS, so in the pipeline we just talked about, you set it up this way. In pipeline, tradesman working pipeline, like I just showed you. And the pipeline stage is obviously NABUS. So as soon as somebody lands in that, it's then going to tag them with NABUS. It's then going to update their contact field with the client name NABUS. Going to send the person SMS and email. And that's it. Okay. Then next, we go to the timesheets. So let me show you. So this is it. This is the timesheet. These are the custom fields you'll have to make inside your Go High Level so you know what to speak to. So for example, worker name, that's going to get pre-populated from this. Company, that's going to be hidden because they're getting assigned to NABUS. That needs to be hidden. They don't need to fill it out themselves because they're automatically being tagged in the pipeline. It speaks to that anyway. The email is that, the week ending date. So if I go to my NABUS there, week ending date there. So once they fill out this, that'll automatically populate into this. And I'll show you an example in a minute. I need to delete that because I was building out a e-signature platform. But I'll go over that in another video. Monday, site, and then that's that there. Once you fill out your number, that automatically populates there. And to show you an example of what it would look like, These are just demo ones that I was testing with. Obviously, the work description would come up relevant to what the tradesman was doing, but for demo purposes, to show people how it works, I was just putting in the hyphen and then showing them, look, the hyphen would appear there. And that's literally it there. That's all it is. The site, everything gets populated, 20th, 26th, 1st of the 4th. That was the last time I showed an agency how it works. And like I said again, you just build this out specific to the timesheet. So if you've got a timesheet that's completely different to this one, then all you do is you go on there, you add the custom fields, which you do on this, custom fields, and you add them all into this. So weekend and date, obviously I can't do it because I've already got one. You'd add the custom field. You choose from one of these, but as is a date, it's obviously date picker. Click next. Field name, week, ending, date. And as it's assigned to the contact, it's the contact, and the same there, and that's it. And then you press save, and then it would appear here. So you've seen the timesheet, you've seen the stage. I think it's time to probably show you the Google. So now let me show you something else actually, the weekly timesheet reminder. So every week, obviously, as you know, if you're a tradesman or if you're a recruitment agency watching this, or if you just know about agencies anyway, you know, you can set up weekly reminders, 2 weeks, every month, whatever it is for your recruitment agency or the recruitment agency you're going to work for. You build this to them. But for this one, it's a weekly reminder. So how you set that up is obviously you go into automations, create a new workflow. You look for the workflow trigger, scheduler there, the name, the filters, weekly. But you can customize this to what you want. On days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you can take Monday out if you wanted, add it back in, as simple as that. Really, really that easy. Next, at what time, which is important. You don't want to be messaging them at 6 o'clock in the morning because they're going to be pissed off that you're doing that. So 10 and 3:15, again, all you do is just customize it as easy as you want for all them. And you tailor that to your needs. Then next, as this is obviously a Narbus workflow, the company I used to work for, Bragg, it looks for the tag, like I showed you. Does the tag include Narbus active? Active meaning they've been dragged into Narbus on the pipeline stage. Well, yes, it does. So it comes through, sends them an email with a link to the timesheet I just showed you, which you just go onto and copy and paste into there, and that's it. And same again for the SMS. And then every Monday, whatever days, at 10 o'clock and 3:15, they're going to get reminded, please hand it in. And that's it, right? And then how the data actually passes from Go High Level into a Google Sheet like this, where everything populates, and through a make.com workflow like this, is really simple, really. So all you do is you've got to make a webhook node, a custom webhook, call it what you're going to remember it is, and you just copy and paste that into this. Timesheet signed, sent to make, timesheet submitted. And then you build all this out according to what you need. So whatever timesheets you got, all the triggers can go on there. So the trigger meaning Amberwell timesheet form is AWell weekly timesheet. And as soon as the tradesman submits that, it speaks to this and it sends it to make.com, and you copy and paste that webhook into there. And all the relevant details you need on the timesheet, you just add them to this. But it's really, really that simple. Okay, and make sure set to post, send to make.com. You copy and paste the exact webhook from there, from this to this, and that's literally it. And how you add that is your week data, week ending. All you would just do is week ending. You click this tag. As I got so many, you just got to scroll to the top. Contact, custom fields, and it'll just be, you just go down and find your week ending date on there, and you flick through, and all you do is just assign that into there and make sure each one corresponds. So Monday's site couldn't be contact email because it just confuses everything. And that's literally all you do. So every time a timesheet gets submitted, asks, was it a Narbus? Was it a generic one or was it an Amberwell one? Well, it's a Narbus one. Okay, passes through, and then it speaks to this workflow. and then it'll get, so the email, which I was on about in the actual form, the timesheet, speaks to this. Okay, well, it's that person. It gets all their detail from the Go High Level contact, and it passes through. So the master lookups, if I show you that now as well, do this. For the master lookup sheet, you can make this per company. So at the moment, I've only got one, just because, like I said, this is just a demo one. But if you did have 10 different companies, then you just add 10 different sheets there, right? And it's literally, that's all you're doing. And then how it speaks to this, well, sorry, let me go back to make.com. Master lookups. So that's the actual sheet ID, as you can see there. He's looking for all sites, which is that. And then it passes through. These are like the codes it's looking for. You customize this. So as this is a demo, I'm just making it easy, Monday site. But what you need to do is, if they're working on 5 different jobs in the week, then obviously you'd have to change that to Monday site, Tuesday site, Wednesday site, and match the job numbers, and then they would know to pull the correct one from there then. So the master lookups, and let me explain this a bit better. So each job number corresponds to a different site, and each site, they could have a different client email to authorize that that person worked on that job on Monday for 9 hours. Same for Tuesday, same for Wednesday, and so on, right? And then you've got the site address, the site contact, first name, last name, and contact number. And then that node there is designed to read all of this. Next up, you go to sheet ID, config, and that's that, right? That comes from that sheet again. You click save, and then it comes on to the important part of a router. Well, as is Narbuffs, and I'll show you a working demo of this next, it comes through, goes up to Narbuffs, let me zoom in, and then the Google Doc, like I just showed you, with all the random fields. It's actually using this template, okay? And then it's mapping all of them from this. So create a document from a template. So the template being this, okay? So then what it does then, let me drag that across there. Drop down my drive, Narbuffs timesheet to use. It is really important that you have one with this and you call it that exactly. And all you're doing then is document ID and you find that. And you click that and it's going to use that one and then it's going to make it relevant to whatever's been filled out on the timesheet. You map all of this out then, and that's that. Next, insert an image to a document. This comes handy now, so obviously you need a tradesman to sign it off, and that basically does that. It adds it to the timesheet to the bottom. That's the neatest way really to do it. And then what it does, it downloads the document. So once you fill out the timesheet, add the signature, it then downloads it back to your Google Drive. And that's it. It's pretty much all it is to it. Then it obviously does all the calculations to make sure it's doing the maths right. So if you work 9 hours a day, corresponding to your hourly rate assigned to the worker, it does all the maths, adds it to the Google Sheet for this, and then it sends it off to the relevant client email auth. So I'm going to show you a quick demo. Hopefully this isn't me talking too much nonsense. And to be honest, it's just exactly the same for generic, and that's all it is. Narbuffs is only because they have a branded timesheet, and generic is every company that uses the same one, you just have one logic for that. If you had 10 different companies that uses 10 different ones, then you assign 10 of these. And that's literally all it is. So I'm going to show you an actual demo of what this would be like, the timesheet working. So I'm on Narbuffs, like I said, multiple times. And now I want to show how you're going to test it. So I click that, and all you do is click test workflow, and that's it. Okay, so this is the example of the email you're going to get. So as soon as that trigger happens for 10, 10:15, and so on and so on, every time that trigger goes off, they're going to get an SMS and an email saying this. Please copy and paste this into the form. Okay, So I'm going to do that exactly. Week ending date, obviously it's going to be the 18th because that's this week. 986. I'll just put 000 so you can actually see it's going to be different. 7, 5, 7 hours. I know it's wrong, but I can't be asked to do the maths. 000, 7, 5, 7, 986, 117, and so on, right? You can keep going down, obviously, Saturday and Sundays if you work the overtime. Instruction notes, that, and work the signature is that. Total hours, I don't know, 40 hours. It's not 40 hours. And then that's it. As soon as you press that trigger, once you've done that, that then speaks to the workflow. So the weekly reminders, and that's that done. So that is now speaking to this, okay? So let me delete some of these tabs. Timesheet has been submitted. Let me delete that. And that's what it comes through as there then, okay? And that's pretty much it. Obviously, all of these, you map that out according to however the company wants it done. The client ID, that obviously could get assigned inside a Go High level from my knowledge and the recruitment agencies I've worked. That never changes. So just showing you all the way across here and another fancy feature that I done. So you're probably wondering what is all of this and how all this is mapped out. So Monday to Friday hours, what I've just filled out for you then. 37.5 hours is what I've assigned to my test person. So what this is going to pick up is that we've worked 2.5 hours at overtime. So, because I don't know if you remember, but I put 40 hours at the bottom. Okay. But as it's only assigned 37.5 hours on a basic, this knows that 2.5 hours is based at overtime. This is the overtime rate. This is just like a rough calculation of like 10% or 9 point whatever percent markup rate that the agency is charging the company. All of this can get automated and stuff like that as well. But just to show you something, overtime multiplier 1.33 time and a third. Sunday multiplier time and a half. Saturday multiplier time and a third. As I've only filled out Monday to Friday, this is just going to be your normal overtime multiplier time and a third. And that's all calculated into this. Okay, you can do the maths if you want. Timesheet email. So that's going to be sent now to this email address here saying, can you confirm Matthew worked all week on your site? Okay. So another fancy feature done for this is they really wanted to automate everything. So as you can imagine, they got 180 workers, but they could have 180 people working on 3 sites. So that could be 180, 360, 540 rows. They've manually got to go through in this and highlight green, saying, yeah, okay, that's signed off, and then export it to payroll. Well, there's going to be a better way to do it, isn't there? Right? So, yeah, there is. What this is designed to do is pull the client email authorizing email from here and actually send it to them. This is now going to be the client email address. Well, hi, please review and approve the timesheet below. Worker, test numbers worker. That would obviously be relevant to the tradesman. Week ending 18th of the 1st, 2026. Let's have a look at the timesheet. 986000. There we are. 40 hours. Yeah, okay, he did work that. Well, how do they now confirm? Sign here. I'm actually building out a rejection. But I've built one out, but I'm actually now building it into the demo now as well. But that's not currently working. But if we just do, I don't know, test, client, sign in, email is the demo, and this, and submit. What it does next, it brings up this actual sign-in feature. So this company was spending thousands and thousands on the e-signature platform, just not even on timesheet stuff because they didn't have anything, just on like generic documents. But with Go High Level, I figured out you can actually use a native sign-in feature, and it's going to cost $0. It takes the IP address, it takes everything. So let me show you how it works. Test client, you can do that, or you get them to fill out their actual signature. Order number. Another thing I'm going to start, you can white label this as well, by the way. So you can white label this as with the recruitment agency at the top, put their signature at the bottom. You can, but this is just a demo. So click finish. So that's now the client signing off the work for that tradesman. That will happen as many times as that client is assigned, that tradesman is assigned to this client. So then what should happen now is that's now highlighted green. So now, if you could imagine, you had 540 rows coming through and they're all highlighted green, but you may get one or two that are highlighted red because they're going to get rejected, or white because they forgot to sign that person off. This is also designed on Monday 3 p.m, which could also be tailored to obviously your business requirements or like the agency you're working for requirements, to let them know you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 100 people who haven't been signed off and 16 of them have been rejected. And then it would give you the exact ones to look for. And then it would let your admin know, or the business owner know, or whoever needs to know that they haven't been signed off, to then chase up the clients to get them signed off before exporting to payroll. So all of that's handled through this, signing off, and it goes green. And then also what happens then is the actual company will get a confirming document showing that the client has signed it all off, showing the signature on it, and also they're going to get a PDF with a signature, so they can't say, I didn't sign it off, it wasn't me. It's got all the IP address, everything on it. And that's basically the workflow. And that's pretty much all I can really show you just for the timesheet automation. But let me know what you think. I don't know if I've explained it well enough. I don't know if I've waffled on too much. But this is pretty much the basis. You make the pipeline, add all the companies into it, add all the tagging workflows. So the tagging knows when it enters the workflow for weekly submission and the timesheet submitted, okay, well, that's company A, that's company B, that's company C. You then go into go high level. Once you've had the tradesman onboarded, all that's really required, if you want to do it that way, is you just go in. Hourly rates, money can always change. So what you do is they can pre-populate all of this. So if they're an electrician, they'd fill out electrician on a form, that populates into this. All of this can be pre-populated with forms, client name. As soon as they drag in and out of the stage, this will change anyway. Hourly rate is £26 an hour, but if all of a sudden the rate goes up, change to 29. Market percentage, if you're now working for a different company, so if they leave you as an agency and then they come back and all of a sudden your markup rate has gone for that company now is 10.01, then all you do is that, save, and that's literally all you're doing. Then this is obviously designed to speak with your make.com, your market percentage, and it just populates all of this. And that's pretty much the breakdown of everything. And I hope this helps. Obviously, if you want this done for you, because you're a recruitment agency watching this, hit me up, message me, and I'll add all my links below.